In the shadowy corridors of the CIA, there's a secret that isn't really a secret anymore. Walk into the headquarters in Langley, Virginia, and you'll notice something unusual. A disproportionate number of the agents don't drink coffee. They don't smoke. They don't curse. And many of them have spent 2 years of their youth in places like Mongolia, Kazakhstan, or rural Japan, not for adventure but for faith. They are Mormons. And the intelligence community has been recruiting them for decades. But here's the question no one is asking. What is it about the Mormon faith that creates the perfect spy? And what happens when devotion to God and devotion to country collide in the darkest corners of national security? Peace be with you, and welcome back to Solvanae, where we explore the hidden patterns behind history, faith, and power. Today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating and least explored phenomena in modern intelligence: the deep connection between the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, known as the Mormon Church, and America's most secretive agencies. This isn't a conspiracy theory. It's a documented pattern. Mormons make up less than 2% of the U.S. population, yet they are vastly overrepresented in the CIA, FBI, and NSA. Why? What makes a devout religious community so attractive to the world of espionage? And more importantly, what happens when the moral code of a faith built on family, service, and obedience meets the moral ambiguity of intelligence work? If you're intrigued, subscribe to Solvanae right now. We're about to go deep into a story that will challenge everything you think you know about faith and duty. And don't forget, your thoughts matter here. Stay until the end and tell me, where do you draw the line between following orders and following your conscience? Let's begin. Let's start with the facts. What does the CIA look for in a recruit? Language skills, cultural adaptability, a clean background, psychological resilience, loyalty, discretion. Now let's look at a typical Mormon young adult. At age 18 or 19, most Latter-day Saints embark on a mission, not a vacation, but a calling. For 18 to 24 months, they are sent to a foreign country, often one where they don't speak the language. They are given weeks to learn it, not casually, not through an app. They are immersed, tested, and expected to communicate complex spiritual ideas in Mandarin, Arabic, Portuguese, Tagalog, languages the U.S. government desperately needs. Pause here and think about that. While most American teenagers are deciding on a college major, Mormon missionaries are learning Farsi in the mountains of Iran or Swahili in the villages of Kenya. They return home at 21, fluent in languages that would take a CIA recruit years to master. But it's not just the language. Mormons don't drink alcohol. They don't use drugs. They don't smoke. This isn't a diet, it's doctrine, known as the word of wisdom. For intelligence agencies running background checks, this is gold. No substance abuse. No blackmail risk. No messy personal scandals. One former CIA officer put it bluntly: Mormons don't drink, don't do drugs, and don't lie. You can't ask for better than that in a security clearance. Then there's the structure. The LDS Church operates with strict hierarchy. Every decision flows from the top, the prophet and the 12 apostles, down to local bishops and mission presidents. Members are taught from childhood to respect authority, follow counsel, and serve without question. Sound familiar? It's the same structure the intelligence community thrives on. Chain of command. Need-to-know basis. A Mormon missionary learns to suppress personal doubt for the sake of the mission. CIA operative learns to suppress moral hesitation for the sake of national security. The skill set transfers seamlessly. The culture of secrecy here is where it gets even more interesting. Mormons are taught to be discreet. Temple rituals are sacred and never discussed outside the faith. Missionaries are trained not to argue, but to listen, adapt, and persuade. They blend into foreign cultures without losing their identity. This is not just religious training. This is intelligence tradecraft. David Niediger, a former Mormon CIA officer, once said, "Mormons make good spies because we reused to being in the world, but not of it." Let me ask you something. Have you ever met someone whose faith demanded this level of discipline? Drop a comment. I want to know your perspective. But here's where the story takes a dark turn. Let me introduce you to Dr. Bruce Jessen. Jessen was a psychologist. He was also a devout member of the LDS Church. He served as a bishop, a lay leader who counsels members, conducts marriages, and blesses the sick. In Mormon theology, a bishop holds the priesthood, a divine authority to act in God's name. And Bruce Jessen was the architect of the CIA's enhanced interrogation program. From blessings to brutality. After the September 11th attacks, the CIA was desperate. They had high-value detainees suspected terrorists, and they wanted answers. Fast. Jessen, along with his partner James Mitchell, was contracted to design a system of interrogation. What they created became known to the world as torture, waterboarding, sleep deprivation, stress positions, confinement in coffin-sized boxes, rectal feeding. These methods were used on detainees at CIA black sites around the world. Some were guilty, some were not. At least one man, Gul Rahman, died of hypothermia after being left chained to a concrete wall in freezing conditions. The Senate Intelligence Committee later called the program brutal, ineffective, and mismanaged. But here's the question that haunts this story. How does a man who holds the priesthood of power, meant to heal, to bless, to comfort, design a system of suffering? Jessen never publicly discussed the moral conflict. In interviews, he deflected. He cited legal authorization. He said he was following orders. He believed he was protecting American lives. This is compartmentalization, the ability to separate one part of your identity from another. To be a bishop on Sunday and a contractor for the CIA on Monday. To hold both roles without letting them bleed into each other. And Mormons are exceptionally good at this. Why? Because they've been trained for it. A Mormon learns early that the prophet speaks for God. And when the prophet speaks, you follow even if you don't understand, even if it feels wrong. Obedience is the first law of heaven, they are taught. In the intelligence world, that same principle becomes, the mission is classified. You don't need to know why. Just do your job. But there's a cost. Jessen and Mitchell were paid $81 million for their work. They retired wealthy. But the program they designed became a global scandal, a symbol of American moral failure in the war on terror. And here's the twist. Jessen never faced criminal charges. He was protected by legal memos, by classification, by compartments within compartments. The system he helped build shielded him from accountability, just as the system that recruited him relied on his ability to serve without question. Let me ask you, is obedience always a virtue, or does it become dangerous when it silences conscience? Comment below, I'm genuinely curious where you stand. So let's zoom out. This isn't really a story about Mormons. It's a story about how institutions, whether religious or governmental, shape human behavior. The same qualities that make someone a faithful believer can make them a compliant operative. The same discipline that builds churches can build weapon systems. The same obedience that serves God can serve Caesar. In Islam, we are taught that obedience to Allah is absolute, but obedience to human authority is conditional. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, sighed, "There is no obedience to anyone if it involves disobedience to the Creator." This is the safeguard. No matter how high the rank, no matter how urgent the mission, a believer must never violate the moral law that transcends all human law. But what happens in a system where moral questioning is seen as weakness? Where doubt is a liability? Where the chain of command is sacred? That's the question Mormons in the intelligence community face every day. And it's a question every person of faith must ask when they serve a worldly power. Where is your line? What order would you refuse? Think about it. And share your answer in the comments. Here's what we've uncovered today. The CIA loves Mormons because they are linguistically gifted, morally disciplined, and psychologically obedient. They are the ideal recruits for a world that operates in shadows. But that same obedience can lead to places the soul was never meant to go. Bruce Jessen is proof of that. A bishop who blessed children on Sunday and authorized waterboarding on Monday. A man who served two masters, and history will judge which one he served best. This isn't a condemnation of Mormons. It's a meditation on power, faith, and the human capacity for compartmentalization. Every faith community, Muslim, Christian, Jewish, and beyond, faces this tension when it engages with secular authority. The lesson? Never surrender your conscience to a system. No government, no agency, no chain of command has the right to your soul. If this video made you think, subscribe to Solvanae. We're building a community of people who ask hard questions and seek deeper truths. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next exploration. And now, over to you. Do you think faith and intelligence work can coexist without compromise? Or is there an inevitable moral cost? Tell me in the comments below. I read every single one. Until next time, may peace, wisdom, and truth guide your path. Assalamu alaikum.